Is this the most underrated series in silver coins? Let's discuss here on the Culture of Currency. Welcome back to the Culture of Currency, where the weight and purity of the culture of a coin is just as important as the silver value. Today we revisit the Koala from the Perth Mint as I lay out some guideposts to help you know if this is a series that you need to start investing in, as well as a general update from my last Koala video. Let's start on where we have been and traverse to where we are. I purchased my first Koala coin as a random BU Brilliant Uncirculated coin from APMEX just a little over a year ago. The one that was sent me I fell in love with. I lucked out and got a coin with a rooster privy. I also love that this koala was actually on the ground, which I find to be a rare thing indeed, as koalas spend most of their time in trees. That being said, most of the coins depicting koalas also are in trees, so it was refreshing to have this coin of the series. This older koala scored a 48, which is pretty high for a largely minted series, but the privy caused it to be a more rare version of this coin. Our coin today is the 2022 version. We will see how it scores later, as first we need to talk about the series and the subject matter. The Koala series started in 2007 and has been one of the giants of the bullion industry. When we think of Australian silver series, of course the kook comes first. I would argue that the Koala would be the second most recognized out of Australia, at least from an American perspective, as the artwork is always changing and there are enough minted to have a lasting attainability throughout the world. The mintage, to my understanding, comes in gold and silver, and in the silver variety we have the 1 ounce and a kilo option. It is also my understanding that no more than 300,000 are minted each year, which is high for some of our series that we love, but it also makes this a coin that can be sold to collectors around the world each year without massive sellouts. If I had to choose the top 3 Perth Mint series by popularity, I would probably put the Kookaburra at 1, the Koala at 2, and the Lunar series at 3. Let me know if you concur with that in the comments below. In my last Koala video, we really dove into the Koala, and today I think I want to give you a visual update on a cool map I found. This is a GIS map, so it has some cool layers, but I have it on satellite as it's easier to see and understand the issue at hand. Let's take a look at this map. You can see Australia, and these koala faces are representative of sightings. Green means a healthy koala, yellow means an injured koala, and red means a deceased koala. Before we get to the koalas, this is a great map to show some geographical data that will be relevant to understand many of our great animal friends in Australia, as well as our own human species. Just like in America and other countries, our larger cities are in conjunction with large water sources, as water is conducive to life, early exploration, and trade. Coral reefs, which are usually located in more shallow water, are abundant with life. Explorers therefore would sail obviously by water to land like Australia, where, as geography would have it, we would have shallow water and good stocks of ocean bounty for food. We also know that rivers tend to follow gravitational norms to find balance, so they will move until they rest in balance, which is why many, without human intervention, find their way to the ocean. Fresh water is imperative for life on land. So as we look at this map, we see ocean and we see very diverse movement of color. When we look east, we have a deep green that lightens as we move west to a light green and then fades to brown and orange. We have bright white in the middle and then a return to orange. This map gives us a great look at why most of the large cities in Australia are on the edges of the nation and not on the interior. The arid and dry sections of this nation are much less to be desired than the lush exterior with great ocean views. As we can see, the koala is the same way. Living mostly in the canopies of eucalyptus trees, it would be easy to see on this map why east is the home for koalas. This is where the dense forest is, well, at least for the time being. As cities expand, the forest is cut into sections which divide the territories of the koala, leading it to travel across roads at times, which also lead to a giant issue, which is getting hit by cars. The koalas have some predators, but mostly in the juvenile portions of their lives. Most of the issues come after that by the hand of humans. Let's take a look here around Melbourne, which is where our friends at Bullion now live. We have some sightings to the east, and when we zoom in, we see a large area of forest cut by ribbons of road. As you can see, if you're a koala looking for a mate or just some fresh eucalyptus, you may well need to cross a road in order to quench that thirst. Human expansion is inevitable, so how do we strike a balance? I'm sure national forest preservations are already happening, but there is one thing that could be implemented that I can think of. I love woodworking, and years back I made 2 nightstands out of eucalyptus wood. I chose this wood because of the interesting color and patterns naturally found in the wood as well as its strength. I found eucalyptus to be even stronger than many of the oaks I have used. After researching, I also found that it is great for outdoor furniture and is a fast-growing tree which is rare for a hardwood. A proposition would be that maybe 4 sections of a plot of land are planted in succession for the timber industry, but harvesting is done in geographic waves so the koala has enough standing trees to cycle through as well as the demand for the timber being met. This is just an idea, but this idea works in the States for the paper industry and farmers using crop rotation to help stave off a lot of issues. Now that we've talked about the series and the focus of this coin, let's cut to the quick and let our scale do the talking. On the front of this coin, we have of course Her Majesty. We have a large border around her, which I like because it balances the formidable face. I always wonder what she's looking at and if her neck ever gets a zinger, as she always seems to face the same direction. Face direction on coins actually has a history, but that's a story for a different video. It is rather bland on the front, but it's well done in its execution as it is from the Perth Mint. So honestly, a 4 to 5 is where this lands, and I flipped a coin on that, so it gets a 5. Now we get to the back. Thank goodness we have backs of coins. This is a great sense of what the koalas and Americans on Thanksgiving look like. I love the depiction because we get the eucalyptus tree, which some have longer leaves and some have short round leaves. So thank you for getting your botany right here, Perth Mint. We learned in my last Somali elephant video that these details do matter. We also have a great depiction of the koala, but one thing I really like about this are the feet. The artist did a great job of depicting the orientation of the toes. Koalas have a very interesting hand and foot structure that separates them from marsupials and other mammals, and makes it great for branch dexterity. We see a similar structure in chameleons, but it's not quite the same. This is a great detail and awesome teaching moment for my kids someday. I love the overall imagery, and I love that the purity and weight are recognized, but not at all the focus. This is well done on the reverse, and it scores an 8. Now we move to mintage. We have a coin that we stated earlier at 300,000 minted. This is great from an accessibility point, but it is bad from a value point. Obviously, having a lower minted coin brings value, but another thing that brings value is demand and strength of a series, so this is a 3 for mintage, but it does have an it factor that cannot be calculated with just mintage. We carry the conversation to cultural significance next. Having a coin from Australia focused on a koala is just about as relevant as me having to hide pointy objects every single time I get my property tax bill. The koala is a staple of Australian pride and is a recognizable international symbol for this land. It gets a 10. Calculating collectability is fairly easy on this one. Is there a high mintage? Yes, but I would argue that there's an even higher demand. This is one of the elite world coin series and has such a high collectability that I have to score it a 10. Uniqueness is our last stop. The koala is a coin that is minted in large numbers every year from 2007 on, but there are variations every single year, and on top of that, we have seen privies on those variations. This is an excellent way to stay unique while maintaining a sense of continuation of theme, so that scores a 9. So in spite of a low mintage score, the fuzzy friend lands at a 45, but the numbers do not tell the whole story. We have a rather high minted series, which in my 2 coins shows a pattern of quality and relevance. This being said, this coin and any koala coin has a collectability factor that should be considered for anyone who enjoys more than just silver weight in their stack or collection. I highly recommend that if you do not have a series that you collect and look to start, this would be a perfect one for you to start investing in. The mintage amount being high means that you will have at the least a couple of months to pick one of these up each year before any type of sellout happens. It also means that you are likely to run into these at local coin shops and coin shows if you miss out on a year. This coin and series gets 2 thumbs up from me, and on that note, please remember to stay classy and current with the culture of currency.